Hey everyone, and welcome back to the JumpCut Play YouTube channel, and it's film related again. Bit of a theme from my last video, but it's an important one. It's James Bond, man, and just like the Matrix trailer where we were recording hours before it was debuting online, tonight I'm going to the midnight showing of No Time to Die. Extremely hyped. End of Daniel Craig's tenure of James Bond, lots of exciting things in store. But outside of the cinematic front of James Bond, video games. An odd one with James Bond, because in the last few years or so, most of the games that came out during the kind of Eurocom era when they were making, I think it was GoldenEye Reloaded and 007 Legend, and then we had James Bond Bloodstone before that as well, which was pretty good in my opinion, and these games aren't available really anywhere, digitally at least. You can't buy them on Steam, can't get them on GOG, you just can't get them unless you get the disc, and the discs, they're not exactly cheap. I mean, I was looking at Bloodstone on disc, and yeah, not exactly cheap. Before that, though, you had the really interesting era of James Bond games that I'm pretty sure many of you will love, and that's the EA era. And EA and Love going together, odd one, but there you go. But yeah, everything or nothing, Nightfire, Agent Under Fire, all the fire. Great Bond games, Nightfire in particular, I thought really changed the game for the James Bond series when it came to video games. I mean, GoldenEye is very coveted in the series and the first-person shooter genre, but looking at it purely from James Bond adventure, Nightfire kind of took the audacity to be ridiculous from Die Another Day, put it into Nightfire, stripped back the elements that didn't kind of work, and made it a pretty good Brosnan era run. I mean, it's still got those elements of ridiculousness. You've got underwater cars, submarine bases, and I guess it's the kind of homaging back to the Spy Who Loved Me with that kind of thing. And then you've got the space battle at the end, which is again very Roger Moore-esque, like Moonraker. But still, they made it work, and I think a lot of that is a testament not only to the developers that were working on that, but I can't remember whether that was Eurocom again that was on Nightfire. I think it might have been, you know. But again, it's just testament how much they understood the character and that element of being James Bond. I mean, it's one thing on screen to kind of have that admiration for the character because he's cool and it gets women and stuff like that, and although some of the elements of the character are a bit dated by modern standards, there's still that element of that lust to be James Bond. And the games, to an extent, make you feel it, and I think especially Nightfire and Everything or Nothing before some of the later installments came, definitely handled that. And now, to cut a long story short, IO Interactive, they are working on Project 007. And we've not really heard much about it since it was announced. We had the kind of gun barrel teaser that came out to announce the project. And other than that, I think all we really know at this moment is that it is a origin story of sorts, or maybe it's an original story rather than an origin story. It's their own take on the character. It's not going to use a cinematic Bond. It's going to be a new likeness. And that's really fucking cool, to be honest. I think IO Interactive, as I mentioned in the Matrix video, they are a match made in heaven for James Bond. It's such a fantastic pairing, and I'd love to know the ins and outs of how that came to be and how they put that in motion. It's just great in simple terms. I mean, we've had Hitman 3 earlier this year, and you look at the game and it's got that panache, it's got that style that you would associate with James Bond. You've got the locales, you've got the sleekness, and I know James Bond's not really a stealthy character on screen, but you've got that element in the game where it makes you feel like you're a spy, you're doing espionage tactics, you're going through a level, you're figuring stuff out, you're using gadgets to an extent, and I can't wait to see what IO Interactive do with the character, because I'm curious, are they going to do the kind of pseudo open world approach with the Hitman games where you've got these big areas that you can expand through and you've got your own kind of approach to how you carry out that mission, or is it going to be more of like a linear adventure, something like Everything and Nothing for example, but you've still got the set pieces, you've still got the fun, you've still got the action all wrapped up into these moments that escalate from level to level. I'm curious to see how that goes. And as for story as well, will it be a modern James Bond, like set now kind of thing, or will it be more like the Ian Fleming era? Will it be in like the 1940s? Will it be kind of like the Charlie Higson books as well, where young James Bond? I mean, in those books he's like, I think he's like 13, 14, so maybe not that young, but in his 20s, will he be just starting out, or will he have got a few kills under his belt? Will he be 006? There's so many possibilities that he can explore, because I think the great thing about Hitman 3 in particular, as opposed to the other two in the World of Assassination trilogy, it had a bit more of an emphasis on story, and I think the way they carried it out as well was really compelling. Because in the other two games, while the story was there and it gives you the kind of breakdown of what's happening with Agent 47 and the wider world around them with the agency, I don't think it was as compelling as how they did it in 3. There was just something about the very cinematic approach in Hitman 3. I mean, it opens like Mission Impossible Fallout, jumping out of the plane, the red, and carrying out the mission, and maybe that helps as well because obviously in Mission Impossible, which is the one where they go to Dubai, Ghost Protocol, they go to Dubai and whatnot, and they go to the highest building in the world, and maybe that's just association on my end, but it had that cinematic quality to it, and I feel like they can carry that across to Project 007. But just harkening back again on some of the older games, Nightfire, I mean, did any of you play Skyrail multiplayer with bots or with your sibling or friends? I know I did. Plenty of hours spent on that, using the phone grapple hook gadget, incredible times, and who knows, maybe our Interactive will bring back the notion of couch multiplayer in this day and age. Who knows? I mean, I think a multiplayer element could work with Project 007. They had it a bit in Bloodstone, and they had a kind of cool way of doing it where you would have like your standard team deathmatch, you'd play as MI6 agents or enemy operatives, and if you got a certain amount of kills in a row or however many kills, you get to play as James Bond, and like you felt that's how you felt like James Bond. You were like running around, had the wall for PP9 or PPK. It was good shit. Maybe we'll do that in Project 007. But I'm really excited for it, and I hope it just does the character justice above everything else, because it is above character James Bond. Not all the films are amazing, but the character, there's a reason why it's endured for such a long time. It has that staying power, and I can't wait to see what Project 007 is. What do you guys think? What are your guys' favourite Bond games? Any fond memories of any in particular? Let us know in the comments down below, or tweet us on Twitter at JumpCut_play. Until next time, we'll see you again. Keep safe.